All right, so in today's video, let's talk about my overall experience with the Bambu Labs P1P after 3 weeks and 100 hours of 3D printing. Let's get started. All right, what's good everybody? Ken here, you're watching OriginaldoBo, and I have had an Etsy print shop for the past two and a half years now, in which we have pretty much used artillery printers for the vast majority of our prints. When we weren't using artilleries, we were using Prusa Minis, which the Prusa Mini is a fantastic little machine. It's just a super reliable machine, and while it's incredibly small and a lot of people may not find a lot of use for it, we found a lot of use for it simply because it did really well at printing some of the mounts that you have on your FPV drone or even your DJI Avata. But with the demand of the print shop increasing, I needed to find a way to sort of get things to print faster. So when I heard about Bambu Labs and I heard about the P1P, I was interested in it. It was a machine that was affordable at $699. It boasted fast print times, better quality, and a lot of options for expandability. So as you can see here, we have two Bambu Labs P1Ps, and I ended up buying just one. Just after Christmas, I ordered this one, and it arrived on the 5th of January. And I basically immediately started putting it to work, started testing some of our models on this printer. A lot of what we have printed and what we have tested are functional objects, things that we are actually selling on the Etsy store. So I want you to keep that in mind, that these are not going to be things that you will be able to go download and print. These are closed source. We haven't released the STL files for them because they are something that we are actively selling. So a couple of things that I look for in a 3D printer is 1, how fast it can print, 2, the quality of the prints, and 3, the consistency that that printer creates. And so far I can honestly say that the P1P has been pretty much the most consistent printer I have owned recently. All right, so let's talk about the build volume, because a lot of people think that this is a very small build volume. They're very disappointed with it. It's 256 by 256 by 256, which, okay, it's not the biggest build volume when you compare it to some other machines that are going to be coming on the market like the Prusa XL, but I will say it's definitely big enough to print some of the objects that I print. So what am I actually printing on this? Well, we're printing things for drones, such as we're printing these, which are, we call them love handles. They go on the RC Pro. We're printing mic adapters for the DJI mic, which this is probably the tallest object that this is printing, which again, this prints perfectly fine. We're printing our helmets, which go on the FPV drone. We're printing these, which are our loss mounts, and these go on the DJI RC. Basically, they just go on the RC to allow you to mount a phone. They work well. And then of course, we're printing our wrenches, because when we sell the RCs, we like to provide a wrench because it allows you to tighten those bolts down. And again, these are multicolor, and this machine is allowing us to print all of this. So it's a lot of PLA, but we are expanding into other materials, but we do a fair amount of TPU as well. So talking about these machines, one of the things that this has allowed me to do is cut down on my print time. So on average, the P1P prints, I would say, about an hour faster than my Enders, and about an hour and a half to 2 hours faster than my artillery machine, which is pretty incredible for the same models that we are printing on those machines. But most impressively, what this has allowed me to do is to change up the materials that I was using. So for instance, a lot of the materials that we use on the artilleries are pre-lean TPUs. So pre-lean is technically a 98A TPU as far as the shore hardness goes. So shore hardness is 98A. And because it's a harder TPU, a tougher, denser TPU, you are able to print it much faster. Now on all of these artilleries, I have 0.6 nozzles. So 0.6 nozzles. On the P1Ps, we have a 0.4 nozzle on the P1P. And just to give you an idea of how long something takes to print, I just want to show you something. So for instance, these are our ribbed riders. Now to print a set of 4 of these, it takes 5 hours on the artillery. This is SainSmart TPU on the Bambu Labs P1P. And if I print this same material on the artillery, it takes me roughly about 6.5 hours for the SainSmart TPU to print this particular model clean. Now, the key word is it has to print it flawlessly. It has to print it clean. And unfortunately, these machines here will not print this TPU clean if I'm going too fast. However, the P1P can essentially print this TPU in 4 hours. 4 hours for a set of 4 ribbed rider ducks in SainSmart, no matter what color TPU, no matter what TPU, I get a clean print every time, 4 hours for 4. So that's essentially 1 hour per duck, which has dramatically improved our shipping times and have dramatically improved the quality that we are able to deliver. So it was after, a couple of prints with this that I basically decided that it was time to buy another one. So I bought another one, and at first I wasn't going to buy the AMS. Now the AMS allows me to house multiple filaments, but the biggest downside to the AMS is the fact that it really only works with PLA. Actually, PLA and harder materials like ABS or ASA, those are the materials that you would load into the AMS. You're not going to be able to use softer materials like TPU. So multicolor prints automatically with TPU are not capable right now. Now that's not to say that, Bambu Labs may not, eventually allow you to do that. But as of right now, you can't do TPU, which is a bit of a bummer. But honestly, most of my multicolor prints are PLA, so it's not a huge deal breaker. But essentially we ordered this, and I gotta say, this thing works flawlessly. I'm getting amazing prints out of it. And going back to those love handles, these love handles here, to print a set of these for the RC Pro, it takes 6 hours for them to print. Now, if I print just one singular color love handle, it'll take me roughly about 4 hours on the P1P, and they print flawlessly. Now, if I decide that I want to print a multicolor print, so if I'm doing like multicolor where like I printed black and yellow and gray. So just to show you this here, these are some of the multicolor prints that we've gotten off of this. These take 10 hours, but let's say if I decide I want to print a batch of these, I'm gonna print multiples. It actually takes me less time to print more than it does to print singular versions. But you can see just the quality looks fantastic. The layer lines are relatively reasonable for what this is. The curves are dramatic on this. There's, obviously a lot of curves because this has got to fit on the RC. But, for the most part, I really love the way this looks. This one came out fantastic. This is a new color I'm just testing out, which I really love. And they look fantastic. So capable of printing things that we weren't able to print before. And it's all in part to that AMS allowing us to swap filaments automatically. Like I said, it just does it all. And it's just a trust thing. At first, I sat here and watched it the first time it did it. But after it did it a few times, I was just like, wow, this thing is legit. And now I just trust it. So far, I haven't really had too many problems with these printers. I would say the only real issue I've had with this particular printer is I did have an issue where it gave me an error talking about the resonance in the print bed. So I had to rerun a calibration. After running the calibration, the error went away. The other thing people have had concerns with is the fact that these have carbon fiber rails. And again, this printer is moving back and forth really fast, that there could be wear on these rods over time. Over 100 hours in, and I don't see any wear as of right now. They do recommend that you clean these carbon fiber rails after extenuating use. I've wiped them down. I really haven't noticed any debris coming off them, so we'll have to see what that's going to be like long term. I love the modularity of all this. Like, I love the fact that all this is magnetic. It's really easy to work on if you need to work on it. I love these so much, I ended up purchasing the X1 as well, so I can do higher temp stuff. So we've got 3 Bambu printers here essentially, and like I said, no problems. So I guess the biggest takeaway with the Bambu Labs printers is the fact that it's speed. It's speed, it's quality, it's consistency, but most importantly, there's just a lot to love because we have an application now where we can print directly from the app, we can upload our files, we can monitor it, and the fact that there's really no fuckery with these printers. A lot of times when you're dealing with 3D printers, there's a lot of calibration, there's a lot of things that you have to figure out to make them work, and it's all super nerdy. And when you are running a print farm and you're running a business, you don't really have time for all those things. Like, we could build Vorons and create, prints just as quick, but who's got time to sit here and build and tune and do all those things when you can just buy one of these and just be up and running really quickly and get consistent prints? Now, I haven't had any problems to really comment on Bambu's support, but from what I have seen is Bambu's support is really good. So I have full confidence in the fact that if something happens with these printers, I'll be able to get it taken care of relatively quickly. But as I keep printing and, putting these through its paces and hours and more complicated prints, I'll continue to update my experience with these printers because they are relatively new, and I am excited about this brand and seeing what they put forth as far as other printers go in the market. All right. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if you picked up a Bambu P1P, what's your experience been like? Is it similar to mine? And are you happy with it? I'll see you in the next video. Stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money to power.